Antarctica is one of the most mysterious places on Earth. Although it has been known to humans since ancient times, this southern continent contains many fascinating discoveries that have shocked researchers in recent years. Suppose you have ever dreamed of traveling to Antarctica. In that case, chances are you have also dreamed of discovering some wondrous new thing there, which will forever change our understanding of our planet and the world around us. That kind of discovery, however, has been pretty rare in Antarctica. Antarctica has always been shrouded in mystery, not just because of the cold temperatures. For many years, people believed that Antarctica was covered by an impenetrable ice barrier, making it nearly impossible to explore the continent or learn more about it. But recently, technology has allowed researchers to get behind the ice and into Antarctica's secrets, revealing some astounding discoveries. In this video, we will discuss some incredible discoveries in Antarctica that amaze researchers. But before doing that, please subscribe Gigantic and hit the bell icon for more updates. Antarctica may be the coldest, most remote landmass on Earth, but this does not mean there are not exciting discoveries waiting to be made here. Over the years, Antarctica has made hundreds of incredible discoveries, and some have truly astonished even the most seasoned researchers. Here are the top 13 incredible discoveries in Antarctica that amazed researchers. Number 13. Antarctic fungi. There are 100,000 types of fungi on Earth, and researcher Robert Blanchette recently found 3 new species to add to this ever-growing list. Blanchette found these fungi not just in Antarctica. There are fungi all over the planet, making them one of the toughest life forms to deal with. Researchers recently examined the rotten Shackleton hut after they found it abandoned and never before touched. They discovered a soft rot fungus and subsequently gave it further examination. Number 12. Fruitcake wrapped in parchment. How would you like some fruitcake preserved in a natural fridge? This popular food may not be that appealing to most people. Still, fruitcake has an incredible shelf life, and its hardiness made it a prime candidate for the explorers on the Terra Nova expedition in 1910. Researchers in the past few years announced that they had unearthed a more than a century-old fruitcake that had been kept safe inside the paper and a tin plate-coated iron container. It had developed a distinct odor and appearance the cake had preserved amazingly well, and even the look suggested that it could still be eaten. Number 11. Ancient rainforest. Scientists have found fossil roots, pollen, and spores in Antarctica, indicating that at some point, West Antarctica had to be something more than just a frozen wasteland of ice with flourishing plants and a hot, humid climate. Furthermore, sea levels were much higher in that region, allowing rainforests to thrive back then and facilitating dinosaurs living in Earth tropics. After researching these fossils, layers, and features of Antarctica, they believe that the land was a rainforest long ago, an analogy to what we see in New Zealand today. Number 10. Upside-down river. Despite sounding far-fetched, there are even upside-down rivers in Antarctica that, while seemingly exciting for some, cause some difficulties for scientists as this damages the ice sheets. What happens is warm water running from the rivers reaches the bottom of the ice sheets. These upside-down rivers carve a path in the ice as this goes on. If that continues, Antarctica will melt if you take the measure of 140 billion metric tons annually. You can conclude that as sea levels continue to rise, more and more communities will be adversely affected by this chilling discovery. Our planet ecosystem will change globally, not just in one country or state. Rivers in Antarctica are finding more points to break through, as it is unlikely to be long until they attack a community like ours. Number 9. Monster bird. Antarctica, of course, does not have many living organisms. Still, some time ago, we did find a lot of fossils, many of which are very surprising, such as the discovery of fossilized remains of giant winged monster birds with a wingspan of nearly 2.5 meters, roughly the size of a U-Haul truck. These birds used to roam the skies above Antarctica, so around 50 million years ago. Known as pelagornithids, these birds are closely related to modern-day albatrosses, but are far more significant. Essentially, these ancient creatures had the attributes and skills of what would now be called monster birds, and had nearly double the wingspan and biting power of modern albatrosses, such that any victim that these creatures could get a hold of might never be fully recovered from such an encounter. Even today, pelagornithids still maintain one of the largest wingspans of any bird on Earth. Number 8. Ice cave. In recent years, Antarctica ice has been rapidly decreasing, and scientists are trying to determine why this might affect our planet significantly. They said in 2019 that the biggest reason why one of the glaciers in West Antarctica is melting rapidly is that there is a massive underground cavern about 1,000 feet tall and almost as big as Manhattan. The Thwaites Glacier is a large ice sheet. If it continues to melt, we will add about 2 feet to our sea levels. If the present condition persists, we could experience an upsurge in the level of the oceans by as much as 8 feet. The structure first surfaced in 2012, and in just 3 years, the ice covering it melted rapidly, something not initially anticipated. In this air cavity warmer than the adjacent ice, melting is quicker than expected, and this is where the dilemma lies. We are all researching what to do, and no progress has been made. Number 7 to 100-year-old photos. Just getting there in the first place requires much preparation, and it is a much harder prospect today than in the past. But in 1915, it would have been relatively easy to set foot on the Antarctic continent. 100-year-old long frozen photographs from an exploration party were discovered in a hut in 2013. Thanks to new technology, 22 photographs were recovered, becoming the first photographic account of Ross' Antarctic expedition of 1914. In addition to these incredible images, researchers also found signs of human activity that date back as far as 1899. Including whiskey bottles left behind by famous discovery expedition of Captain Scott, which makes for some pretty amazing history right here on our planet. Number 6. Singing ice. The Ross Ice Shelf is one of the most magnificent regions of Antarctica. Scientists have discovered that they sing as ice shelves break off glaciers. Scientists suspect these sounds may be due to frozen bubbles of air trapped in ice, which may cause booming noises when parts of icebergs collide with other parts or when chunks break into more irregular shapes. Several theories about what could be making these sounds, but none have yet been confirmed. Ice shelves are floating platforms of ice that connect with a landmass on one side and float over seawater. As ice shelves form, ice is lost through melting or icebergs being washed out to sea. The breaking off of pieces from an ice shelf is called a calving event and can cause loud cracking when large portions break off or melt into smaller bits and collide with other pieces. An area of seawater surrounding parts of Antarctica is also believed to be home to underwater volcanoes that produce strange noises too. Called whale song by some scientists, there is still much debate around whether these noises really come from undersea volcanoes or if they are made by other means entirely. Whatever their source, these sounds give new meaning to music coming from beneath our feet. Number 5. Dry valleys. Not many people know about this, but even though the ice and water surrounding Antarctica make it one of the driest places on the planet, Antarctica has one of the driest areas on the continent, McMurdo Dry Valleys. It is largely ice-free compared to the rest of the continent, making it 1850 miles in length. The McMurdo Dry Valleys on the Antarctic Plateau, which has the highest snow levels in the world and one of the harshest climates, has earned the nickname Mars on Earth. Even though it is so cold here and covered with ice, it is worse for the McMurdo Dry Valleys because it has far less precipitation, not enough snow cover, and salt as well. In reality, when this area was founded in 1903, Captain Scott and his crew of expedition thought that it was devoid of life. Still, as it turns out, creatures on Earth can be quite tough. More recently, we have discovered beings that learn to adapt to this environment. Imagine this place like a desert, but even harsher. There is almost nothing to eat here, but one of the creatures called cyanobacteria can easily use photosynthesis and very little water. Even in a freeze-dried state, the environment in the dry valley inhibits the nutrient in this place, but life finds a way to flourish. Number 4. Antifreeze blood. For millions of years, some organisms have learned to adapt to their environments to survive, no matter how extreme the circumstances are. Take, for example, Antarctic fish that have developed a resistance to very low temperatures so they can survive the cold waters there. The freezing point for human blood is about -2 to -3 degrees Celsius, which means if you are immersed in water in Antarctica with a temperature as low as -0.8, you are bound to die of hypothermia. Although it possesses a form of the pigment hemoglobin to take in oxygen, the Antarctic blackfin icefish does not possess functioning red blood cells. These creatures do not use red blood cells to transport oxygen, but develop huge hearts to compensate. Furthermore, they develop glycoproteins that provide an antifreeze mechanism so that they can survive the cold temperatures of Antarctica. Unlike the eggs of other animals, unhatched polar fish eggs have these proteins too. That is right, unlike the eggs of other animals, who would die in the cold of Antarctica. These polar fish eggs have the proteins. The animals look kind of ghoulish and scary, but they are one of the most awesome fish in the world. Number 3. Shackleton Lost Ship. Sir Ernest Shackleton is one of the earliest explorers of the Antarctic, but sadly, his name is most famous for the tragic voyage in which he and his crew were surrounded and killed by icy, cracking ice, causing their boat to sink. It has taken over 100 years to find this wreck as the site was deep underwater and easily undetectable. When found, it has proven that not only the names and histories of Shackleton sailors will now live on, but those of the first Chile architects as well. After being underwater for over 100 years, the ship was found in remarkably good condition, albeit trapped under some rather unstable ice. Considering that the ship called Endurance, I guess it would fit that this is one of the most remarkable shipwrecks. There were difficulties as they were at extreme temperatures and constantly encountering moving ice. But after years of persistent searching, they were finally able to find the lost Endurance. The team was thrilled and expressed the victory by wearing jumpsuits that said, "Always remember." Number 2. Giant Face. Antarctica is a place some people suspect aliens have visited before. It would make sense though. If there were a place on Earth where extraterrestrial life could come and go without attracting notice, it would be this sparsely inhabited expanse of snow and ice. Of course, we have no concrete evidence for an alien presence on our planet, but some conspiracy theorists point to this and similar conjectures as plausible explanations. Take a look at this supposed example and tell me what you think. You can find this photo in Google Earth photographs of Antarctica, and conspiracy theorists claim this as one of the most convincing proofs that aliens have visited us. One can see a face, closed eyes, a nose, and a mouth in the picture, and I must admit it looks like the face of an alien. It could just be a coincidence though. Many refuse to believe that the image would form independently, without the help of something, while I agree that the image resembles a face. Number 1. Green ice and laughing gas. When most people imagine Antarctica, they probably see an expanse of white, but the continent is not exclusively white. It is true, irregular patches of green scattered along its coastlines, which have become rather famous. Indeed, these green areas, which evoke images of bright green tea, have a darker cause. When they started, they were just small patches of green. Still, they eventually expanded, with the patches often appearing on satellites. One of the culprits behind this is an oncoming colony of penguins. Although these birds are typically seen as adorable, this time, their waste has caused some trouble for researchers. In this case, the algae have continued to grow and flourish because it receives nutrients from the penguin waste. In addition, the laughing gas problem has created a troublesome atmosphere for the researchers, who encountered the issue while undertaking various experiments. In all, these algal blooms are harmful because they emit nitrous oxide. As a sedative, it is colorless, non-flammable, and is usually used to relax patients during medical or dental procedures. Scientists do not necessarily want to be experiencing these symptoms while they are researching Antarctica, because this gas can make you all lightheaded and dizzy. Studies reveal penguin excrement has a gaseous byproduct that emits laughing gas around their colonies. Unfortunately, it makes observation intense in Antarctica. But to examine the effects of alga blooms on our planet, the research will continue to study Antarctica despite this problematic side effect of penguin excrement. Well, this is the end of the video. Which one of these discoveries you have found most fascinating? Do tell us in the comments. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you like the video and subscribe this channel. See you next time.